The nice thing about this last section is that all the groundwork has been laid for you already. I've taught you dimensional analysis. That's something I've never done prior to this point, but I've taught you it before this section, and so you should hopefully have a pretty intuitive understanding of what's going on today. In the previous sections, what we've been doing is we've been going from SI units to SI units, right? Meters to kilometers, centimeters to millimeters, things like that. And we've also been going imperial units to imperial units. We just had a quiz on that. Feet to inches, yards to miles, things like that. Now, we're going to crossbreed these two units of measurement. We're going to go imperial to SI and back. Okay? So we're going to mix things up, right? And that hopefully should seem intuitive to you. If I asked you how far 3.5 miles was in kilometers, there must be a way of figuring that out. Because they're both distances. They're both measurements of a distance. There has to be some correlation between kilometers and miles and feet and centimeters and things like that. You with me? So this table basically outlines all of the conversions that you'll need for today. And you can see that they're really weird. They're pretty hard to remember. I don't expect you to remember them. You will not have to memorize them for the provincial or any tests. You will be given this chart if you need to make these kind of conversions. Okay? Just remember that you have that as a toolkit for yourself when you do conversions between SI and imperial. Okay? One of the reasons why these conversions are so strange is because the conversions within imperial units are strange. You remember a mile is 1760 yards, a yard is 3 feet, a foot is 12 inches, right? There's no real consistency between those units of measurement. That's why you get all these funny decimals here. Okay? But just remember that you have this chart at your dispense when you come to converting between SI and imperial. So let's just practice with this a little bit. We're going to convert 31 meters to yards. So here we're going from an SI unit to an imperial unit. Looking at the table above, do I have something that goes or correlates meters and yards?
Yeah.
Yeah, I do. What do I got?
Meter.
I've got one right here. And I've also got one right here. I've got two, actually. The question is, which one should I use? And the nice answer is that it doesn't really matter, because you'll get the same answer either way. However, I would suggest that when you can, use these measurements. Why would I say that?
Because they're exact.
Because they're exact. These are approximate. All these guys down here are approximate. So when you can, use the exact conversions. You won't always be able to, but when you can, use the exact conversions. So that's what we're going to do. We're going to use that exact conversion. Okay? So, 31 meters. We want to go into yards. We're going to use dimensional analysis. The relationship between yards and meters is 1 yard is 0.9144 meters. How do I set up my conversion factor?
0.9144 would go on the bottom.
Good. 9144 on the bottom. Don't forget to put the unit there. And the 1 yard on top. So you can see that I have meters on the top, meters on the bottom. They cancel nicely. Now my measurement will be in yards. So let's multiply the tops and bottoms. So I get 31 times 1 is 31 over 0.9144. What does that equal? $33.9. I'll just keep it at 9.
Yeah.
Yards. Does that seem reasonable? You can see how close yards and meters are. In fact, people often call this stick a yardstick. Can you see why?
Because
It's pretty close to being 1 meter. Right? So this would be like a referent for a yard. Right? 56,000 inches to kilometers. Alright, let's tackle this. 56,000 inches. Put that over 1. Do I have something that takes me directly from inches to kilometers? Take a good look at that table. Is there anything there that goes inches to kilometers? Probably not, because an inch is like the width of your thumb. A kilometer is substantially bigger than that. So it's unlikely that, I mean, you could probably find one. It wouldn't be too tough, but we're going to choose an easier path. Instead of going inches to kilometers, which we can't do at this point, we're going to go inches to what? Inches to centimeters. We could do that. Good. And then centimeters to meters, and then meters to kilometers.
You could just go inches to meters.
Can we go inches to meters? Do we have that?
No.
No, we don't. We keep in mind we could also do this. Watch this. So you suggested going straight into SI and then all the way to kilometers. You could also do this. You could go inches to feet, feet to yards, yards to miles, and then to kilometers. You could take that path as well. But notice it's a little bit longer.
Yeah.
Right? But it's important to just remember that there are multiple paths to this answer. Okay? But let's stick with the easier path here. So inches to centimeters, set up the conversion factor for me. Inches and centimeters. Do we have an exact? Yeah, we do, right here. Okay, so what goes where?
Inches on the bottom and centimeters on the top.
1 inch on the bottom, 2.54 centimeters on top. Good. All right. Now I want to go, make sure my inches cancel. I want to go centimeters to meters. We should know this now. How many centimeters in a meter?
100.
Good. So 100 goes where? Top or bottom? 100 centimeters.
Bottom. Top. No, bottom.
You want to cancel the centimeters, so you need one on the top, one on the bottom. So my centimeters will cancel. And what else?
Then it'd just be 56,000.
Are we done?
No.
We want to be in kilometers, so we got to do one more conversion. We want to go meters to kilometers. How many meters in a kilometer? Mm-hmm. 1,000. So 1,000 meters goes on top or bottom?
Top.
Bottom. Remember, you want to cancel the meters from over here. And a kilometer on top. And the meters cancel because you have one on top, one on bottom. Now we multiply everything. You can start to see the magic of dimensional analysis now, right? So we got 56,000 times 2.54 times 1 times 1 all over 100 times 1,000. What does that give you?
1.4.
So 1.4 approximately?
Yeah.
Okay.
I got.
So 1.4, what are my units? Kilometers. Does that make sense? About 56,000 inches is almost a kilometer and a half.
Yeah.
It's a lot of inches, so yeah, seems reasonable.